seen they been finding body parts in Austin? Yeah, they found like a half a torso, and then they found like some other body. Then they found like 2 arms. It's like the 3rd discovery of body parts they found in the Austin neighborhood in like a week or something. It's crazy. To me, it's starting to sound like it's the same body though. To me, it's like because they found a torso, then 2 arms, and I don't know if I heard exactly what the other finding was, but I feel like it's starting to sound like the same body.
Or
the Jeffrey Dahmer thing is sending people up.
Yep. Or motherfuckers is selling them organs. Or, it's all kind of possibilities. Motherfuckers poor, man. It's wild out here.
It's super OC out here, son. Shit is wild. I don't know, man. I guess we'll find out what's going on with that, but that's definitely super, super wild. What's going on with y'all? Hope y'all feeling good on this here Wednesday or whenever you are tuned in to this edition of HerbNTou. We greatly, greatly appreciate it. My name is Herb alongside Toussaint Warner. We are here hanging out with y'all. We talking about issues that impact the black community. We talk about how those issues impact us as individuals and how they impact us as a collective. And we talk through those things in hopes of finding the optimum solutions for how we can overcome said issues. Again, overcome them individually, but perhaps more importantly, at least for the sake of this conversation, overcome them as a collective. Thank y'all so very much for choosing to tune in to this conversation. Please feel free, if you are watching, to leave your comments, share it on your personal page, share it within your personal network, share it with anybody that you think will find some value in this particular conversation. It is our belief that the more like-minded individuals we can get to be in on this conversation, the better the opportunity we actually have of reaching those aforementioned solutions. Gee, the election is over. How many politicians have my phone number? Shit is getting out of hand, son. They've been texting me. Are you getting these text messages? Have you been getting them all month?
I don't know if all month. I've been getting them this last week, though.
Off the meat rack, son. But please share the broadcast. Again, this is HerbNTou. This intellectual thuggery at its absolute finest. My name is Herb. I'm this one on the shirt. I'm not that one. I'm this one on the shirt. His name is Tou. He's that one on the shirt. Tou. What's happening, good brother?
What's up, family? I'm maintaining, G. I'm just maintaining. I usually say blessed and highly favored, but today was some bullshit.
I'm just hanging on today.
Goddamn it.
Flailing in the wind.
Hey, man, fuck you today. You hear me? Fuck you. You all right?
Hey, man.
Today been a motherfucker, boy.
Hey, man.
Start to finish.
You have had a very, very interesting day, no doubt. I would say take my perspective on it, man. I always say I ain't had a bad day yet. Certainly I've had some wild, fucked up days. They'd be like, yo, this OC is hell. But in perspective, relative to other people who have had a very bad day, when we started the show, somebody woke up dismembered in a trash can.
Fuck them other people. Today was shitty.
Wow.
And I'm standing on it. I'm not comparing my days to your shitty ass life. That's your problem. I'm dealing with my problem. Fuck your day.
By my standards, today was fucked up.
Today was fucked up. Your shitty ass life is your concern. Fix your shit.
Your arm on Laramie and your leg.
Stop walking that night by yourself. Goddamn it, get a pistol. I don't know what to tell you, but today was fucked up.
You gotta fucking relax, man.
I'm just saying.
God dang, you gotta relax.
How you get killed like that though?
Wow.
No, I'm serious.
Wow.
No,
that's
I'm
where we going?
I'm asking. Right.
Hey.
And again, I don't have any proof. Hey. I don't have any facts on the case. And I'm not making light of a torso being found in the garbage can. What I'm saying is
the body hasn't even been identified yet. We don't even know.
How the fuck they gonna identify the body?
They have the arms now. They can fingerprint it.
You identify a motherfucker from the arm? Are you right?
Fingerprints, dude.
Right.
That's how they identify people.
You're right.
So they haven't identified the body. So we don't even know
and it might be more than one body.
We don't even know whose cousin, auntie,
two arms from different bodies at one time. That would be wild.
That'd be wild. I'm telling you, like
this is Johnny and Charles.
It's easy.
I'm saying that's fucked up.
Listen, I am going to not laugh with you about this until I know how many people I know that were related to these corpses.
No, I'm saying it's fucked up.
This is Chicago. It ain't that big.
You know.
We got a lot of West Side people.
They say black people laugh at their pain.
There's a lot of West Side people in our family.
I'm black. I gotta laugh at our pain.
That's kind of the way we get through it.
That's how we deal with this shit.
That's kind of the way we get through it.
We make jokes about all this shit.
No, that's kind of where we
I'm
get
not
through
making
it.
light of it. I'm saying though, that's like, how do you die like that? And I'm under.
I think you just die any kind of way, and then they cut you up.
Yeah, I get that, but I'm talking about the assumption, right? I'm assuming, like we were just talking about possibilities before the cameras went on.
Yeah.
Right. Okay. Somebody selling organs.
Yeah.
Right. Now, depending on what organ you need, you can't damage the motherfucker.
Right, but you can't get it. It sounded like the torso was intact.
So
I don't know though.
Hear me out though.
Okay.
You can't damage the organ.
Sure.
Right? So I'm assuming if you the murderer, you can't shoot the motherfucker because you can't control what the bullet's gonna damage.
All right.
So you have to be like a
Dr.
real
Kevorkian type
yeah,
shit.
you got to,
You gotta know some shit.
Yeah, you got to know some shit. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And the scariest black people are, we shouldn't die like that. Because it would take you to put yourself in a position to die like that. And we the scariest motherfuckers on the planet. We shouldn't be in them positions.
We are the most suspicious motherfuckers on the planet.
We scary.
I think we scary in some aspects, but not scary necessarily in this type of thing. But I do think we are the most suspicious people on the planet. And so we tend not to find, like, you know what I'm saying? We tend not to find ourselves in wild ass situations.
Right.
You know what I'm saying?
Scary.
But for some other, like we prostituting or we out here on dope or we, going home with strange and bright men from the bar because he said he'd give us $100 for nude photos. You know what I'm saying? But for that kind of shit, we don't tend to find ourselves dismembered in freezer.
I'm not laughing at that last one.
It was funny.
I guess
it's true though.
I have more empathy for the prostitute and the dope fiend. The $100 I'm gonna get due for these bitches, motherfucker. Come on, dog.
That's what I'm saying.
Come on, dog.
That's what I'm saying. You can't. I'm at the bar and some dude is like, "Yo, let me buy you a couple drinks."
Work in the alternative lifestyle. I don't know nothing about.
I don't know how to. I don't know.
It work?
I don't know. That's good. That's really, really good. It's really good, man. I've certainly frequented more gay bars than you. And I've been flirted with, but nobody's ever like, yo, come back and take these photos. You know what I'm saying? That's never nobody's ever offered me a huncho for taking my shirt off and no shit.
You been to the gay bar?
Yeah.
So last week, a week or two ago, there was this conversation on Joe Buttons, and they asked about that question specifically.
Mm-hmm. Never been to one by my house. Never been to the pub, which I've lived next to for 30 years, but I've been to a couple gay bars for sure.
So the question was like, would you go to? No, they were like, if you want to do something and your girl won't try it, will you be offended by it? Right. And the answer was like, yeah and no. Right. So they was like, but what if she wants you to do something and you unwilling to try it? And they was like what? I try anything. And then somebody, threw out the curveball, like, let's say she wanted to go to the gay bar.
Right.
And one motherfucker was like, I tried. If I don't like it, then we leave. But the rest, it was more I try it and one me.
Right.
The one me was like, nah. Right. And they was shitting on him for saying nah.
Right.
Right. And of course, I said he the one me, so I identified with the nah.
Right. I ain't going to be there.
I ain't going to there for what?
I think you could catch gay.
No, I don't think I can catch gay. So I look at it like this though. I just know I'm not interested. Right.
Right.
It's almost like I tell my son, even like I was making light of, how do you die like that? Mm-hmm, right? Mm-hmm. Certain environments have nothing to offer me. Right? The shit we was talking about with the Migos. I'm not going to be in the dice game.
Yeah.
There's nothing valuable there for me.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So I'm not going to put myself in that predicament. Gay bar, it ain't even about gayness.
Right.
Right? It's about all of the possibilities. And I don't want none of the possibilities work out for me.
What are the possibilities?
Anything, right? Because I'm in your environment.
Sure.
It might look free game. It might look like free game.
It might look like I'm on the menu.
I might look like I'm on the menu. And I'm not. I would hope that I wouldn't be offended.
Sure.
Right? But I can't. Who knows? Right?
You know what?
My first response might be one thing and that might not be acceptable.
You know what's interesting about like people who are like not really willing to be in such environments where they like they're not their most comfortable around a bunch of gay activity. Y'all think every gay nigga like y'all? y'all think they be like, no, these niggas gonna like me, like they selective too, like, you know what I mean?
But see, they had the conversation around the gay bar.
Mm-hmm.
But I think it's a philosophy though, and I think it's interesting like how we leverage the conversation.
Sure.
It's certain foods that I just don't like.
Sure.
I've never tried them, and I know I don't want to try them.
Yeah.
Right? My sister used to eat liver. I'm not eating that, fam.
Not eating no liver, not
I
eating no
have
chitlins.
no interest in eating that ever.
I'm
I don't know if it's good or bad. I'm not trying it. I'm not interested.
I saw a dude eating like testicles the other day. It's like, and trying to tell you like how to prepare them and shit. Like, bro, why?
But
how do you know that? Like, what?
But I look at the liver conversation just like I look at the gay bar conversation. I'm not judging. Y'all can do what y'all want to do. I'm just not interested.
Sure.
Right? So why should I be judged under the act of I'm not interested? Right? But that's what they were doing in the conversation. Like, nah, man, that's fucked up. You should at least try it if your girl wants you to try it. I don't have to try it.
Oh, that's real.
You know what I mean? I don't have to try it. I'm secure in understanding what I like and dislike.
Sure.
And that's what it is.
No, I feel you, man. I've generally had good times in the few gay bars I've gone to. They just be chill. Like they tend to be some partying motherfuckers, some free, you know what I'm saying? Just happy, like on some. I guess happy is the
you do the lounges.
Ironic word, but
right, you do the lounges.
Yeah, I'm a lounge.
When
nigga.
I was
not a
club hopping motherfucker, I didn't do the lounges.
Yeah.
For me specifically at that time, nigga, the lounge is where you get shot. I'm not going. It just wasn't my thing.
Yeah.
Sister stayed in the lounge. That just ain't my shit.
Yeah.
I ain't going.
Yeah. I think you introduced me, or maybe it was Mac introduced me to the lounge lizard term. Yeah. I'm definitely a lounge lizard. This is more of my thing. It's a little bit more chill, a little bit more intimate. Ain't wild as fuck. You know what I'm saying? But nah, yeah, I've definitely gone. You know, it's whatever, man. But that is definitely. I'm not gonna die like that. You know what I'm saying? I'm not gonna die like that. You know what I'm saying? But even on some straight shit, even though a woman couldn't be like, yo, come back to my house, I'm gonna take pictures of you for $100. Woman, no, the fuck you not. Like, you know what I'm saying? Like,
I'd like to say no. But I think back to my past, I've done some very dumb ass shit.
Oh, listen, I've done dumb shit.
Hey, I remember one instance, G. This is a true story. Me and D was coming from this party or some shit, right? So he was dropping me off at the crib.
Throwing D under the bus for no reason.
But I needed to get something for the gas station before I went to the crib.
Sure.
So I was like, take me to the gas station. And he was like, no, I'm not supporting that bullshit, right? So I was like, I don't give a fuck, drop me off my car, go to the gas station myself.
Right, big.
Nigga, it's got to be the sun finna come up, right? It's morning time, you understand me?
It's morning.
Sunlight. No, look, so I get to the gas station. Some lounge lizards is coming from the 50.
Oh, yeah. Oh, shit.
Right?
I've never been to the 50. Lounge lizard as I am.
I ain't even the lounge lizard. I've been to the 50.
I've never been to the 50, G.
So
it's on my bucket list. I don't know why I've never just gone in there. I've never. So
let me tell you this. This is a Patreon story because I don't talk like this.
Yeah.
But lounge lizards at the gas station. It's cracking. You hear me?
It's 5 in the morning. Of course, it's cracking.
It's cracking.
It's got to be cracking.
It's cracking, right?
It's never not cracked at 5 in the morning.
It's 3 of them in the whip. Me by myself in my whip.
Yeah.
Imagine you, I'm just coming from the club.
Yeah.
So I got that shit on.
Oh, yeah.
You understand?
Yeah.
Got it on.
You feeling yourself too.
Myself too, you hear me? And I'm a young nigga, right? So they talking shit. I'm talking shit. It's like, meet me over XYZ. Say no more. It's going down. You hear me?
She could have said, meet me at Homicide and Strangulation Boulevard.
So
okay.
Look, she drive off. I'm driving up behind her, and I'm noticing there's a van behind me that seems to be making every turn we make. I'm like, this ain't comfortable.
This is no bueno.
This is some stupid shit. And we ride like over by old block. Then we make some turns. Now at the time, I'm super plugged over there because I hoop with all these niggas. So I ain't really concerned about old block like that at this time of my life, right?
Sure.
But while we're driving, right, the match has got to be 5:30 in the morning. I'm calling D. Here go these bras. License plates. I'm driving, taking my jewelry off.
As you should. As you should. As you should.
Putting this shit in the glove.
But still going though.
And I ain't gonna tell you the end of the story, but it's hilarious.
We'll tell that on Patreon. That's hilarious, actually, bro. Nah, man. We do wild shit. I could tell you some wild. Anyway, man.
It's a win. It's supposed to be a smart show.
Yeah, we got let's get this thing back on track here before I tell you about.
But that's when I was young and did a lot of hood rat shit with my friends. You know
yeah, man. Yeah. Had an interesting weekend. this past weekend. Shout out to Justin Fields, man. On my little bear shit, Justin Fields set the NFL all-time single game rushing record for a quarterback on Sunday. He rushed for 178 yards against the Dolphins. The Bears still lost, but the offense played really, really good. And I think everybody is now reasonably convinced that Justin Fields can be the franchise quarterback that everybody hopes he is. I've been telling people that for a long time, but I think people are starting to realize, just how physically gifted that man is. Shorty is nice. Like, you know what I'm saying? He still got a lot to learn, a lot to put together. They still got to put a lot more talent around him. But Shorty got it. Like, he got it. And it'll be nice to see because I've never seen the Bears have a quarterback that had it in my life. Jay Cutler is the best quarterback I've ever seen the Bears have. They didn't have him for very long, and he was inconsistent anyway. But if Justin Fields could be their quarterback for 10 years, that would be phenomenal. Like, Shorty Cole. But I went out with some colleagues that I work with Friday.
Of the Caucasian persuasion?
I'm the only one of us that is consistently on that beat. Like,
Jamal and them ex-cousins?
Yeah.
Ex-cousins, because Jamal done left them in the
Jamal
past.
done switched. Right. That's back when he was Jake.
That's back when he was Jake.
Hey, yo. So anyway, yeah, salute to the
They
weekend.
bought all the shots.
Hey man, it was just an interesting weekend. You know what I'm saying? We're gonna leave it. We're gonna leave it at that. It was a late night. It was one of those 5 or 6 o'clock in the morning things. That's what made me think about it. But either way, today we're gonna get into some of the stuff that's been going on around all of this anti-Semitism conversations. There are several different ones. Obviously, the most prevalent one is around and involving Kyrie Irving, the uber talented point guard of the Brooklyn Nets, who has always been willing and unafraid to speak his mind, willing and unafraid to stand alone in the face of mass opposition, which I respect. Be it about the vaccine, be it about flat Earth, be it about politics. He's always been willing to stand in that space. And if you don't know, and I'm sure everybody does, he recently has found himself in that space again, as people are calling him anti-Semitic and saying that he was promoting a movie that has anti-Semitic tropes in it. I don't think he was promoting shit. Which is an interesting conversation we're going to get into about who actually is promoting it. You know what I'm saying? And who actually is benefiting from the fucking movie. Talking to you, Jeff Bezos. But nobody's coming to him about that. But anyway, Kyrie has been suspended by the Brooklyn Nets. He initially chose not to apologize for the tweet that he made. They said he was promoting the movie because he tweeted out a link to the movie. And so they say he was promoting it. And initially he refused to apologize for it. He ended up coming out with a statement, apologizing, saying, I don't have nothing against nobody, Jews included. Nets suspended him, and now they want him to go through this checklist of things. There's like 5 or 6 things they want him to do before he's reinstated to play again. They include things like sensitivity training, meeting with the National Jewish Coalition, whatever the hell type shit. That's not exactly what it is, but I think they want him to do all these types of things, and so I don't know, man. I think it's weird that you have a group of people that can just say you can't say shit about us. I didn't say nothing bad about y'all. You know what I'm saying? But you just don't keep our name completely out your mouth, out your post. Don't send a link to nothing that says shit about us. And it's kind of fucking wild, man. And it's something that we talked about before, in terms of different communities being able to do that and black people never having those same liberties.
Because black people are powerless. Right? And that's really the crux of the conversation for me, right? So in regards to like the quote unquote Jewish community, I'm no biblical scholar, right? And I'm not, because I'm just not interested in it, right?
Sure.
You've heard me talk about Mystery Sky Daddy
Yeah.
several times. Like, that's how I look at that whole conversation.
Yeah.
I think when you think about all of the Abrahamic religions, they all have the same story, right? And what you believe is what you believe, and more power to you. I could care less. But religion ain't no different than gangbanging for me. You know what I mean? I'm more of a spiritual being. So
Me too.
Me saying that I don't rock with religion I don't believe in a God. It's just
Sure.
I don't believe in the theory of the Abrahamic versions of this story.
Sure.
But when you think about just life on this planet, right? And if God is about the origin of life on this planet, right? When you study this planet, when archaeologists have studied this planet, all life started next to the equator. Right?
No doubt.
Everybody that's born next to the equator is black. Why? Because the melanin in your skin protects you from the sun. Right? So if we get away from the mystical theories of a baby being born out of the sky,
Right.
and just get into how we understand humanity to be, everybody came from some black shit.
Have to.
Just what it is.
Not up for debate.
Science says it's what it is.
It's not up for debate.
You know what I mean? So the further and further you get away from the equator, well, you're a human being and your body adjusts.
Right.
Right? You evolve to survive the elements of wherever you are.
Said environment, right.
Said environment. So your features change. You know what I mean? So the Asians, they really just black people that's departed from the equator.
Sure.
White folks is just black folks that departed from the equator.
Sure.
Right? We can create everything. They can't create us.
Right.
Hence, if you believe in those kind of theories and those kind of stories, then all of that shit emanated from us. Well, let me not say from us, because I think that's even a fallacy. All of that shit emanated from Africa. And I see that as even being different from us.
Yeah.
We're an amalgamation. You know what I mean? Now, to the spiritual entities, right? The spiritual connection and understand the energy and frequencies. You can't get me without a sufficient amount of white men.
Sure.
You know what I mean? You can't get me without a sufficient amount of black men. You know what I mean? Now, if the origin story is next to the equator, then those people probably carry the energy of God. You know what I mean? Now you get further and further away from that energy, and it's a story and conversation we've had before. Next to the equator, everything grows in abundance. Africa is still the wealthiest continent in regards to resources.
Right.
Right? They rob in Africa every day because it's the richest piece of land on this planet.
Right.
Right? So when everything is abundance, you put value in people.
Right. Because we all good.
Because we all good.
We don't got to fight over these
We ain't
apples,
got to fight over the resources.
Ample.
Right? Now, when you start thinking about the Caucasian or the evolution of the African that becomes the Caucasian,
Right.
right?
Right.
His features are a reflection of scarcity.
Right.
You know what I mean? That creates another kind of mindset, right? That I got to hoard and fight for every inch.
I will kill you about this apple.
I will kill you about this apple because it ain't coming around again.
It's the only one.
It's the only one.
Everybody
Right?
can't get it, B.
And I care more about this apple than I do you, my brother, because my survival is imminent.
That's it.
You know what I mean? So, getting back to me, if I harness those two conflicting energies,
Sure.
right, and at the most balanced equation of those two conflicting energies, in a real way, right, then I harness probably the two most powerful energies in the universe, spiritually,
Love and greed.
love and hate, right? I harness them in a more balanced way than anybody else, right?
Or love and
And if I can control those energies,
indifference.
then I would probably be the most dominant human on this planet,
Sure.
spiritually,
Sure.
right? But that's only if I can harness them and balance them and understand them,
Sure.
right? Now, getting back to the Semite conversation, even if we looked up the definition of Semite, right? It is a language spoken by more than one group of people. You know what I mean? So when you say something anti that, if you even say something anti that,
right?
How do you dictate who I'm speaking to?
Right.
Right. The Arabs ain't came out and shunned nobody, but they speak the language.
Right.
They speak. I think it's Slavic. Don't quote me on this because again, I stated earlier, I'm no biblical scholar. You know what I mean?
And we've been wanting to talk to a rabbi on this conversation. So if y'all can plug us to like a rabbi that would be willing to have this conversation with us, we would like to have that.
But I say all that to say this, man. I think all of these conversations are reflections of people looking for an identity. Specifically us, right? Kyrie shared that shit because he's on a journey to find out who Kyrie is. Yeah. You know what I mean? And that is one of the downfalls of being an American descendant of slaves.
Not knowing who
you just don't fucking know.
Yeah, your origin story is interrupted.
And that's one of the downfalls of white supremacy as well, right? You robbed us of that experience.
Sure.
Right? So to then re-punish us for giving a fuck about it. You understand what I'm saying? Yeah. You robbed us of the experience. You robbed the world of the understanding. You hid culture. You hid language. You stole culture. You stole language. We just talked about the symbol, the Nazi symbol, because the young man at the
Jones High School
got in trouble.
Yeah.
You do the research. That's an African symbol. It's
the swastika.
The swastika is originally an African symbol, right? But it's only ascribed to Nazi Germany.
Sure.
But that's not its truth. That symbol is recognizable in African history and culture. So let's say I identify with that specific African history and culture, and the swastika has a different meaning. I put that shit on my T-shirt because it means something different to me.
Now I'm anti-Semitic.
Now I'm anti-Semitic because you are dominant, and we allow you to be dominant, so you dictate the rules of all culture. I think that's fuck shit.
It is. And I think that, to me, I've gotten to a space where this whole conversation about white supremacy and power and dominance and greed, it's a very, very simple thing for me. And I understand it best by not complicating it. And I think that in a lot of situations, we've gotten a little bit too complicated about what it is and what it means and how can we go about changing their behavior and this, that, and the third. To me, it goes back to the very thing that you said at the beginning. They found themselves in an environment which dictated a lack of care or concern for anybody but me. This is about my very survival. My survival instincts kicked in and says, there's only one of these apples. There's two of us here. You have to die. Whether I kill you or I just starve you because I took the fucking apple, you can't be here, right? And I think that as they've evolved and gone around, they've just taken that energy with them. That's how they've gone about everything. So I take the one apple here, and then I move and I conquer something else. But I only know one way to do it, and it's fuck you. That's it. And it's real cutthroat. It doesn't leave space for empathy, understanding, or none of that shit. This is my agenda. It's based on my survival. And so because it's based on my survival, I'm going to do anything to ensure it. That continues to be the motivation for them, in my estimation. It's still just about their very survival. They understand quite well. They understood this early. They learned this very, very early as they were going around conquering different lands. Every time they procreated with somebody from those different lands, the offspring looked like the other people. And so, fuck, if this keeps up, we ain't gonna be here. Again, my very survival is dependent upon me controlling and dominating, right? And being the superior being here. And that's largely just what they continue to do. And they do it through any means necessary. Nothing is off the table. If it's about my fucking survival, everything is on the table. So yeah, we will miseducate you. Yeah, we will motherfucking reverse Roe v. Wade because we cannot allow white women to abort white babies, right? And so I know black women are upset and Asian women are upset and Latino women are upset too. cool. Everybody has the right to be upset, right? Because they talking about what you can and can't do with your body. No problem. But it ain't about you. You know what I'm saying? This is about white women. White women can't abort white babies because we can't afford it. When was it that it was since what 2010, 2015? When was it that after that year they would no longer be the majority based on birth rate?
2005.
2005. To 2005, white people would no longer be the majority based on birth rate, meaning people of all the babies born in America, white people would no longer be more than 50% of it like they've always have been. And so again, they can just see the clock is ticking. It's like a fucking hourglass. The clock is ticking on them, and they're doing everything they can to buy some time. And anything that you do to offend threatens that. My question to this particular conversation then becomes, well, what is a fucking Jew? What does it mean to be Jewish? Is that a fucking race? Is that a fucking religion? What is Jewish?
So, if you look up the definition, it's going to associate it with anybody who aligns himself as a member or a follower of Judaism. Mm-hmm. You know what I mean? But they also constitute a land mass too, right? Mm-hmm. They constitute Israel. Well, they fight Palestine continually to constitute Israel.
More people have died in the name of religion than anything else.
But for me, again, that's not a conversation I'm versed in, mm-hmm. right? I don't like having a biblical conversation. For me, it's a useless conversation. I know mm-hmm. people will get offended when you say that, but for me, it's a useless conversation, which goes back to why I always support the ADOS conversation or the foundational Black American conversation. For them, what it is an identity, right? It allows me to attach myself to some value or what I deem as value, right? But even if the myth is a valuable myth, it's a myth, right? And you can believe whatever you want to believe. And I think that's the power in it all.
Yeah.
Which is why I argue with black folks, right? You could wake up tomorrow and decide. You can wake up tomorrow and decide and create a doctrine that you decided upon.
Sure.
Right? It's been done throughout history. Mm-hmm. We see it. Because based on the basic science, right, who the Jews identified with could not possibly be scientifically true. If that story is true. Right? But there's a lot of ifs in those conversations. And for me, again, it's not worth the argument because I believe the story itself is a myth.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? I don't believe that there's one
believe in
guy
the Immaculate Conception
that just created all of this. You
sure.
know what I mean? I don't personally believe that. You know what I mean? But again, I think the value of it is that they do have a standard. And I think we lose sight when we start the fight from the vantage point of which they want you to fight the fight from.
Yes.
You know what I mean?
Yes.
That's not the conversation for me.
No.
You know what I mean? For me, the conversation is, look at us. Who are we?
That's it.
Right? What do we identify with? What matters to us?
That's it.
And what we're saying is, it's funny, even the cancellation of these people, what are they canceling them from? Access to
their shit.
Their shit.
Fuck your shit.
Fuck your shit. Right? I said this the other day. If how could you possibly cancel Kanye from a culture that Kanye created?
Right.
If he owns it.
Right.
Fuck out of here.
Right.
Right? But again, we don't identify with anything except for financial gain. So my biggest concern, and this shit is like a playbook, man. They do this shit every 40, 50 years. Right? I don't even remember the name of the book, but there was a book you used to have to read at Beasley when I was a shorty. And it talked about the Salem witch trials.
Oh yeah.
Right? And all they had to do was say, she a witch. And they burned the bitch.
Yeah. Yeah.
You understand what I'm saying?
Yeah.
No proof.
Yeah.
No definitive. But being associated with the witch was bad enough.
Yeah.
We see it happen over and over again, right? They wanted to blackball white people or even Jews in Hollywood in the 50s and the 40s. Right? You're a communist. No proof. No, you don't even know what the fuck the mass public don't even know what a communist is.
What's that actually mean?
You understand what I'm saying?
Right.
What's that really? Even if you what?
Right.
So when we start to see this shit, this is a playbook that gets ran over and over and over again. Right? But it's because you wrapped up in dumbass conversations. You're having branch conversations instead of root conversations.
Right.
You know what I mean? Now, what I hate to see, though, just like the Salem witch trials, right? Because the people of Salem was like, yeah, fuck her.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Yeah. And we saying the same thing from our community, and they leverage the same tactics every time, right? So you got Shaq jumping up on, even though how you started, you like, nobody's talking about Jeff Bezos. Mm-hmm. I don't think nobody should be talking about Jeff Bezos, right? He has a platform. He airs media, right? Hold fast. And if anybody has seen that documentary, right, even based on the claims that they're making of it's some anti-Semitism or anti-Semite language in the documentary. The documentary is, I want to say, historical fact. I want to say that, at least that's how it's presented, right, of archaeological finds.
Sure.
They quote every professor. They acknowledge every book. They acknowledge, you know what I mean? It's not like, well, we just came up with this shit.
Right, they cited.
They cited, based on this archaeological find, this is how these people must have looked. Based on this archaeological find, this is the bone structure of these people. Yeah. Based on this, it was like, it's one of them kind of conversations.
Yeah.
It ain't saying, hey, fuck y'all.
Right.
It's saying, based on this, right, then this is possible.
Right.
This is logical. This is likely.
Right.
You know what I mean? So for Kyrie and Kyrie didn't even say anything.
No.
He just posted the image.
Yeah.
Right? So to put him on timeout
Sure.
for sharing the image, you don't know what Kyrie's thought behind that image was.
No.
Right? But black people, specifically black people, because that's what they do. They use us against us.
Of course.
You know what I mean? They jump out the windows like, yeah, fuck dude, he's a goofy, he's a dummy. You done heard everything you can hear about Kyrie.
Idiot.
He's an idiot. Kyrie didn't even make a statement though, bro.
Yeah, I think that's the problem. So even when you say like we shouldn't be coming at Jeff Bezos about it either, I don't disagree with that, right? I'm simply saying we shouldn't be coming at Kyrie, right? But if we are gonna come at Kyrie, why aren't we coming at Jeff Bezos, right? You know
so that's a pushback I got though, because that still keeps us fighting at the branch. Why are we fighting about this conversation, right? Even if you want to say it's anti-Semitism is what I'm saying, right? If me and you get my daughter one time, my daughter was upstairs and my son was downstairs, and my daughter yells up from upstairs, "Daddy, Eric just hit me." Now Eric is downstairs. You understand what I'm saying? Now I could go down there and say, "Eric, don't hit Bella." But Eric didn't hit Bella. That's not what's really happening here. That's not the conversation I'm about to have. Right? The offense is not on Eric. The offense is on Bella for lying. Right? And not only just lying, what you did is because you was bored. It was nothing.
Because you could.
To institute this energy. That's what I'm saying about the Kyrie conversations. There's nothing there to institute the conversation we've been having. So now when we start looking for other people to blame, for what?
Because you can, though. That's what I'm saying. So just like in that example, Bella did it because she can, right? She can. Whatever experiences have taught her, me being the baby girl, I can get this nigga in trouble. You know what I'm saying? And that's how they feel about Kyrie. I can get this nigga in trouble. Because I can. Don't make it right. And all I'm saying is, even going back to what I was saying earlier, like, it's just simplify the whole shit. Don't make it this right or wrong thing. That's right, that's wrong. Fuck right or wrong. It ain't about that. It's about survival for a certain group of fucking people, and they are going to do it. Period. So you understand that you should respond differently to it. It shouldn't upset you in this kind of way. But they do, like you talking about, they use us against us. And so now you get Kyrie, I can get him in trouble because I can. But then I'm also going to use the other famous black faces to condemn his behavior, thus influencing the public opinion of said behavior. And that's what's going on.
But it's, again, right, it's the branches. It's the blind leading the blind. Nobody's getting to the crux of the conversation. And we can go even a step further, right? So Shaq was one of those voices that came out about Kyrie.
Goofball.
Right? It's been noted since he's came out about Kyrie, in one of his theaters that he owns, that same movie was playing. You understand what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Like, that's how fraudulent this whole shit is.
Yeah.
Right? 90% of the people who are shitting on Kyrie because of this shit don't know what's in the documentary, bro.
Right.
You don't know the book that the documentary is based on, bro.
But
you ain't done the research. All you heard was somebody who you deem as powerful, or you heard a complaint, or somebody say they was victimized, and you run with the story.
That's it. Master said you bogus. You bogus.
Preview.
But see, my thing is this, though. My thing is this. Not necessarily the white-black dynamic of it all, right? That's why I went back to the Salem witchcraft, right? What the fuck happens when this becomes the theory of thought? Because that kills democracy.
Yeah.
You understand me? That kills democracy. And we've been watching it happen for the last probably 5-6 years with cancel culture in general. When I don't like some shit, it got to get the fuck up out of here. Us being the most powerless people on this soil. If we said Black Lives Matter on YouTube before the first minute of filming, right? Just saying Black Lives Matter. They prevent you from monetizing. Think about that, right? That's the standard of YouTube. What negative connotation does Black Lives Matter have? From our vantage point,
sure,
none, right? But when it came out, the police created a opposing view saying Blue Lives Matter.
Yeah,
right. Black Lives Matter.
All lives matter.
All lives matter. Whatever it is, right? But none of them have a negative connotation.
No.
None of them should be offensive to anybody.
No.
Right?
Right.
But somebody said, hey, I'm offended by this, and there's consequences to using said language.
Yeah.
Right? It just is what it is. But that's only because we're powerless. Right? Think about this, man. Race is a conversation that they shun you from having.
Yes.
In most public forums, most platforms, stay away from race.
Taking it out of schools.
Stay away from politics.
Yeah.
All the shit that really dictates American life.
Shit that matters.
Right? You think race don't matter in America? The only reason America has any fucking wealth is because of the conversation of race. Right? Let's not have no critical race theory conversations in our schools. What you mean? You don't want to teach American history?
No.
Right.
No, I don't want
to. But
teach
only the powerful can create that construct. Now, here's our problem as being a powerless person. Right? Because of the way this game gets played out, we adapt to these new ideas because we're educated by the same system.
Right.
Right? So their God becomes our God. Their theories become our theories. Their ideas become our ideas. And we in turn relate all our failures to ourselves instead of the experience of America.
All while they continually move the goalposts to
Sure.
where they goals ain't even like the goals we aspiring to that we think is they saying that ain't even they same fucking goals no more, right? They on some other shit. They on some just control and dominate. So now I'm waving this little trinket at you to come get this money, come get this money, come get this money. And so Shaq is like, oh, I gotta come get this money. LeBron James is like, oh, I want to own one of these NBA teams. Let me make sure I don't get on the bad side of these niggas. I'm finna retire in another 2 years. I need to be owning one of these teams. Kyrie, boy, you idiot. Like, and it's like, whatever, nigga, you still ain't in, bro. Like, you trying to be into something that they not even really into. This is not even about fucking money. But if I can use it to control your stupid ass, then I'm gonna do it. That's all it's fucking about.
But it's about the same conversation, but that was happening in the cave over the apple. Right? I don't even think most black people equate these conversations to being or following whiteness. Right? But we've constructed our philosophies around the same white philosophies. So our value attachment is to things too.
No doubt.
Right? So it might not be an apple, it might be a car.
Sure.
Right? And that's what makes me valuable even in the lexicon of our community.
Exactly.
Right? I ain't got to be one to be next to a white person. I want Lil JoJo to value me. Or I want Nicole to value me. Or you know what I mean? And this is what we value. Things.
That's the trick. That's what I'm saying.
Right?
Move the goalposts. You don't even know what you're following.
So that becomes my God.
Right.
You know what I mean?
Right.
And we're seeing how people identify with those theories.
All of them do it, but that because it is so rampant amongst us, then when somebody isn't beholden to that, everybody thinks you're fucking crazy. Everybody. So if you Craig Hodges, if you Mahmoud Abdul Rauf, if you Colin Kaepernick, if you Kyrie Irving, you are fucking crazy. You know what I mean? Like, you gonna walk away from these? You gonna walk away from these white people money or just the money?
Mahmoud Abdul Rauf wrote something about the Kyrie conversation, and I thought it was brilliant and beautiful. And I think it's interesting juxtaposition to remember why he got shunned from the NBA, because he legitimately got excavated from the NBA because he was a practicing Muslim, and he didn't honor the American flag, right, for his religious beliefs. Let him tell it. You understand me? And the NBA and his fan base said, "Get the fuck out of here!" At the height of his career, right? And there was nothing else said about it, nothing else done about it. He was just powerless to change any of that.
Yeah,
he's 40-some years old today, killing in the 3-on-3. Mm-hmm. Killing. Mm-hmm. Every NBA player that goes there is like, "Hey man, this dude is
still got it."
He's that. This how cold he was. G. That man played with Shaq as a point guard, and it was his team.
Yeah,
that's how good he was.
Yeah,
right. And they got rid of his ass like it was nothing. Mm-hmm. Right. This is just history repeating itself.
Yeah.
But it's continually repeating itself because we won't stand in the proper polarity of who we supposed to be for us.
Not because we don't fucking know, right? And we don't know, and therefore we continue to repeat. You know what I'm saying? And so, don't matter. You can go back to Muhammad Ali. You know what I'm saying? Now, what Muhammad Ali had going for him in terms of his plight was that most black people were yet to have access. You know what I'm saying? And so they weren't even in the mind frame of thinking like, oh, we can go get this other thing. They were all feeling very oppressed, and it was blatant. It was in your face. Like you always say, you can go outside and see colored water fountain. Nigga, this ain't for you. You know what I'm saying? You can't come here and eat. This ain't for you. So it was a different time. But now, in a time where I can walk downtown and go in any fucking restaurant I want. Now they might side at me, or they might finesse me and saying, "Oh, you can't wear Jordans in here." You know what I'm saying? That kind of shit. But the problem is we become so fucking blinded by the shit that we join in on it. And we join in on it not only when it's with us. Think about like when 9/11 happened. Mm-hmm. Black people was all with all the shit white people was on. You saw a motherfucking turban. They gonna blow some shit up. Fuck are you talking about? And where do you get off blindly oppressing people like that, or fucking judging people like that? You know what I'm saying? Like where we get off doing that shit to anybody else when that's been done to us for fucking ever. But you saw it everywhere in the movies. You saw it in the comedies. I remember Jamie Foxx doing his show. I think it was I Might Need Security. He like, I'm on a plane and one of them Talibans walked under his head. Like, what he doing? Like, you know what I'm saying? It's like, where we get off on that shit? You know what I'm saying? Like, we don't even fucking understand, and then we do it to ourselves too.
Mm-hmm. But our entire identity as Black Americans is in response to white ideas.
Yes.
Right. So I just think it's all interesting, man. When you think about the conversations we had with Beach, one of the things Beach always says is when we went to the Ali Summit, he was like, everybody paid for themselves to be there, right? Everybody there was in support of the ideology that Ali had. It wasn't even about Ali.
It wasn't even about him.
Right? Now, here's the thing. Beach also references, I played football. That's what I did.
Right.
It's not who I was. Right. First and foremost, I was a black man.
Right.
Right. Now in that vein too, you was like, I always reference the white water fountains and it blatant in your face. But even with it being blatant in your face, there was a small percentage of groundswell who said, hey man, being black is valuable. We're going to fight for this understanding, this consciousness, this plight.
Yes.
We're gonna make some noise around it.
Yes.
Now, not everybody. Matter of fact, the vast majority of people didn't fuck with that. 1960, whatever, Martin Luther King was voted the most hated man in America. Think about that. In context of how we view King today, at one point in time when he was alive, he was voted the most hated man in all of America. Niggas was voting in that too. You understand what I'm saying? So a lot of us didn't fuck with don't rock the boat. Don't fuck, you know what I mean?
We just trying to assimilate, man. Please.
Right. Stop fucking rattling the cage. You know what I mean? But there was enough of a groundswell for a certain group of people, maybe the warrior class, whatever you want to identify them, to say, hey man, fuck this shit. I'm sick of this shit.
We sending this shit up right now, fam.
We're sending this shit up right now. Now, the people that are getting or canceling everybody in this very moment in time, right? They do control the vast majority of media outlets, right? Media, it dictates imaging and messaging. I said this before, right? The Bible was media. Media is the most powerful shit out here. It's the most powerful shit out here, right? Because it really dominates and controls the people. When you think about politics, we're going through an election today. The motherfucker who wins ain't the motherfucker with the right policy. The motherfucker who wins, the motherfucker with enough money to spend on TV commercials.
That's it.
That's it.
That's it.
Right? If you could get in front of more people, because the voters going in there and say, this name sounds familiar. You know shit about their policy.
Straight name recognition.
Right? Because we live life unengaged from the reality of our lives. Or we live life in a like Salim said, just trying to survive. So we're not engaged in this other shit. But all that other shit
honor and respect to King Salim.
creates the vein of survival that you have.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? But we're not vested there. So you can only fall in line because you're ignorant.
Yeah.
Right? But the symbology of it all. Let's ask LeBron about what he thought about the Kyrie situation. LeBron said some LeBron shit. And LeBron is a very interesting case study to me because he represents so many other case studies to me. There's a whole swath of people who be like, yeah, I don't fuck with LeBron on the court, but I love what he does off the court. There's a whole swath of people that say that.
Yeah.
Right? There's a whole swath of people like LeBron is a stand-up guy.
Yeah.
I think LeBron, when I was young, one of my uncles said this to me, and that shit resonates with me throughout the rest of my life. You watch how a dude play basketball, you can watch how he gonna live his life.
And this is the eyes wide shut thing we talk about. We're always gonna have a segment that we call eyes wide shut, where we kind of view things one way, maybe it's some other shit. I think this is that, right? I think this is that when you talk about LeBron James, you talk about Shaquille O'Neal, Charles Barkley, Stephen A. Smith, all of these things to varying degrees, it's eyes wide shut. On the surface, it looked like this. On the surface, like, yo, he's top 3 basketball players of all time. He's a billionaire athlete. He come from Akron. He got a school. He this, that, you know what I mean? In reality, is he doing a greater good for the black collective or not? And we can debate it. You know what I'm saying?
I think Dr. Umar said it the other day. He said black male athletes is what Dr. Umar said. He said are the greatest cowards that the planet has ever seen. Right? Now, I look at that in a few different
Makes
ways.
sense though, that they would be.
Well, I think we put a lot of responsibility on black male athletes or just
Agreed.
black people in the public sphere.
Agreed.
Right? That ain't really their responsibility. They didn't come up studying this shit. They came up studying the ball.
Right.
You understand me?
Right.
But because we all are ignorant, right? We looking at them as they're the pinnacle of black life. And they're only at the pinnacle of black life because they own television and they got money.
I was having a conversation with some...
Real quick, because I don't want to lose the point about
Go ahead.
watch how a man plays basketball. You can watch how he lives your life. And that shit resonates with me, right? If you watch somebody who just one of them all-out hustle motherfuckers, they ain't really got no skill, but they all-out hustle. If you really know them people, they live life just like that.
Dennis Rodman.
They live just
I'm
like
gonna
that.
do what I want, fam.
They going hard.
Yeah.
They live life just like that.
Yeah.
Right? The point guard is usually a cerebral motherfucker.
Yeah. He's
He's usually thinking about shit.
Yeah.
Right? How can I he's probably the greatest manager you've seen at the job. You know what I mean? The motherfucker in the middle that's a brute. He probably lives life just like that. I'ma just trudge through. I ain't got to be bright. I ain't got no skill sets, but I'm just gonna keep going. All this shit resonates.
I'm gonna outlast you.
I'm gonna outlast you, right? One of the things Bron brings to the game is flopping. Right? In the heat of the moment, LeBron history shows you he don't want the responsibility.
You don't want it.
You know what I mean? That was one of the greatest pushbacks on Bron as his career subsided. So as you think about that, I don't really want the heat.
No.
I don't want the smoke.
No.
But he's at the pinnacle of the conversation because he's quote unquote the best player. And when they start to have conversations around shit like this, because this the smoke.
Ducking the smoke is
Ducking the
his
smoke
MO.
is what he want to do. I want to duck the smoke.
Stay low.
You think about Ali, and he ain't a basketball player, but his whole shit was, I ain't ducking no smoke.
I want it.
Matter of fact, I'm going to talk to you. Bring the smoke to me.
I'll lean up on the rope. You can throw every punch you got.
and I'ma still fuck you up.
You know what I'm saying? I lean him on the rope, you throw every punch you fucking got.
It's a philosophy behind that shit.
Yeah.
Right? And if we just pay attention to the two personality types, he ain't the one.
Yeah.
But what's interesting to me, and it's back to the symbolism of shit. When he made them statements about Kyrie, he had on a Jackie Robinson baseball hat. Mm-hmm. Right?
He did.
Think about this shit. We praised Jackie Robinson too.
And you know what we had on it.
But check game though.
Yeah.
They leveraged Jackie Robinson to shun Malcolm X.
Yeah. Yeah.
Right.
They also leveraged Jackie Robinson to kill the Negro Leagues.
Oh, absolutely. Absolutely, right? So that's the eyes wide shut shit. While you clapping for Jackie Robinson, thousands of families are suffering.
He's killing the Negro Leagues.
Right? No more profit is being made. That's about owning industry.
Yes.
Because we want to be with this so bad.
Yeah.
We're allowing one motherfucker to profit while thousands lose out.
They realize that shit's bubbling up. Who are these Satchel Pages? Who is this Jackie Robinson? Who is this Willie? Like, you know what I'm saying? Like, who are these people that is starting to gain such acclaim that they are competing on the scale of notoriety in baseball with the Mickey Mantles or, you know what I'm saying, whoever the fucks. And it's like, nah, we got to shut that down.
We not invited to their parties.
How we going to shut? Okay, here we go get one of them niggas.
You remember when Nelly made the country record?
Yeah.
You remember how the country audience responded to that shit?
Yes.
Get that shit out of here, fam.
Same they did to Lil Nas X.
Yeah, get that shit out of here, fam.
Yeah.
You ain't welcome.
You're not welcome here.
Right. Eminem. What's the other little boy here now? Jack, whatever his name is.
Harlow.
Jack Harlow.
Yeah.
We can't wait to invite you to our party.
We want to be close to you in any way possible.
Man, the shit is it's a flawed philosophy, bro. At the end of the day, man, we have a very flawed philosophy. And again, like I said, to me, it ain't just a black and white conversation. Mm-hmm. It's when these dominant thought processes come to the forefront and say, you can't even have certain conversations, right?
Yeah.
Or we're going to shun you off our platforms. Again, I've lived in a world where I got to see Minister Farrakhan on daytime television, right? I got to see Khalid Muhammad on daytime television. These motherfuckers is calling white people devils on daytime television. Right? You got to believe that had some influence on how I thought about the world.
Yeah, for sure.
Right? I grew up in a time where self-destruction was a record that was played on the radio.
Yeah.
I grew up in a time where hip-hop was pushing motherfuckers to put African medallions on their chest. I grew up in a time where motherfucking the hip-hop culture, quote unquote, was one of the leading fighters against apartheid in South Africa. What movement is hip-hop selling today other than more materialism? What medium of media, black media specifically, is pushing you to do anything but engage in more materialism?
Bro, the script works well. And so long as it works, rinse and repeat. It don't matter the industry, right? So if I want to kill the Negro Leagues, and I feel like the best way to do that is to invite one of these niggas to come with us, right? And give him more than they can get over there. Then they all gonna aspire to be here. And so I do the same thing with music, right? They building all this culture and all this shit and all these messages about this, that, and the third. Okay, go get one of them niggas and bring them over here. But make sure it's the ignorant nigga. Make sure it's the nigga that's talking about shit that's not positive for them. Bring him over here. And then everybody's gonna want to come. How he get there? Talking about killing niggas and fucking bitches, selling dope. Okay, well, guess we gonna kill niggas, fuck bitches, and sell dope.
Man, but these conversations are conversations that we need to be having in this sense, bro.
And then you put them people in the leadership positions to be thought leaders for the collective. And that becomes the problem. I was having a fucking conversation in the Bears locker room with some prominent players. They all fucking prominent players. But they went to prominent colleges and they like, man, bruh. So when I first got there, I was like, I thought I had to go to like class and shit. He like, I remember the first day I'm in class and I saw such and such, one of his other teammates, I saw him get up and leave. He's like, my first day I come in there, he was like, man, I had always been told, like, you got to sit in the front of the class, walk the bench. He said, I saw such and such leave out. Like, nigga, left. I'm like, that's because you niggas y'all wasn't studying to be doctors and lawyers. Y'all was studying to be fucking football players. And clearly you niggas passed the class because y'all in this fucking NFL locker room. Y'all passed the class. But you telling me you never went to fucking school. But now everybody views you as the person who should be a fucking thought leader. Kyrie was at Duke for 10 minutes. He didn't learn the shit there. He had to be self-taught. And so like you said, as he self-learns this shit, he's just talking about what he's discovering. LeBron didn't go to nobody's college at all. And definitely didn't have to do shit in high school. How is he the fucking thought leader on any fucking thing? If we're not talking about basketball.
He's not a thought leader. None of them are thought leaders. But part of that problem of being subservient is that system is they get to pick our thought leaders.
Yes.
Right?
Because of the money. That's why when you say the athletes out of that's why when Dr. Umar says
also because of our attachments to what we deem as valuable.
Exactly.
Right? I was having this same conversation with some young men the other day, and I was saying the same thing you saying. And they was like, man, there ain't no black voices out here to speak for us. I said, man, you crazy.
You not listening.
Right? I was like, you not listening.
Because they don't got the trinkets.
They don't put the microphones in their faces either.
Yeah.
Right? There's I was like, you go to any bookstore, there's a whole section dedicated to this conversation. But you're not gonna go in that bookstore.
No.
Right? There's a whole section of YouTube that's dedicated to these conversations. But you ain't gonna go to that section. There's no governors on YouTube to say you can't go over here.
Yeah.
But you're not gonna go.
No.
Because you are attached to materialism.
I saw a thing that said, you know how people always be like, it's easier to get a gun in the black community than it is to get a book. And some black dude was making fun of it. He was like, yeah, you're right. That's 100% true. I went into Barnes & Noble the other day and I was like, yo, let me get this black book. And they was like, nah, but here go this Mac 10. It's like, you know what I'm saying? Like, you could go, you know what I'm saying? But you also don't know what you don't know.
That's true, but the onus of responsibility is fixing your traumas.
Sure.
You know what I mean? We all come from certain lifestyles. Either you gonna live in that muck or you gonna not. Right? But again, we don't even recognize we in the muck. And I don't understand how we don't recognize we in the muck, because if you look just in front of your face, you're right. What's water? Right? A fish don't know he in water.
Don't know he in water.
But the shit has grave implications.
Yes, it does.
Right? And I'm saying in this
we gotta get Sadiq on the show too with the holidays coming up.
Yeah, I'm with it. In this moment in time, though, I'm looking beyond Ye. I'm looking beyond Kyrie. I'm looking at the fact that used cars cost more than brand new cars. I'm looking at the fact that a car with 100,000 miles on it is costing $30,000 today.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
These are conversations that's not happening, but they have implications. Right? I'm looking at the fact that we're moving into the fourth industrial revolution. This is America. In order to make $1, my old man used to say, you can't be no cowboy if you ain't got no horse. Right? Part of it, we've created a lifestyle where certain shit becomes the norm. Right? And you need these things to survive. Right? If a used car costs $30,000, bro.
Yeah.
Right? The dual income earning black household today is busting $50,000. Or close to 50. Not even 50. And the car costs 30 with 100,000 miles on it. Right? You ain't going too far in no vehicle.
You're gonna need another one before you pay off this 30.
100,000 miles on it.
Right.
You understand what I'm saying?
Right.
They're Xing you out of the conversation in totality, family. You have no value no more. And I think it's interesting that the who we deem as elite,
sure,
from a symbolic standpoint, they're showing you, man, we can cut their fucking feet off anytime we want. So if you just a motherfucking garbage man, oh, you gonna shut the fuck up and acquiesce?
It's buck breaking.
It's buck breaking.
You know what I'm saying? If I can do this to $40 million Kyrie Irving, your $40,000 ass better shut the fuck up.
It's buck breaking.
You know what I mean? Right. And you see it work immediately on the likes of LeBron James, Shaquille O'Neal, Charles Barkley, who all immediately come out and shun this dude. You know what I'm saying? Like, what are you shunning him for? Y'all calling him all out his name. Y'all calling him an idiot and all this shit. What is he an idiot for? He's an idiot because he pissed off somebody that you wouldn't dare piss off?
Or because he won't apologize because he has more value in his understanding of thought than he does in his wallet?
Because he's aware of his testicles and you've long since given yours away.
Yeah, but that's a reflection of what we value.
But we value that, right? It's about the money.
But I said this though, right? I said this the other day. There's gonna come a time in life, in every grown adult's life, where you're gonna have to stand on principle. At some point, whether it be with a spouse, whether it be with a friend, you're gonna have to stand on principle, whether it be with a boss at a job.
At some point.
Right? But by the very nature of the definition of principle, how could you possibly ever stand on principle if you've only anchored yourself in lies? It's an impossibility.
Your principles is fucked.
Your principles is bullshit.
Exactly. That's what I'm saying about you don't know what you don't know. Your principles is bullshit. So how the fuck you gonna stand on them? Them niggas think they standing on some shit. LeBron James, Shaquille O'Neal, Charles Barkley, trust me, they are not sitting in front of those cameras thinking, I'm being a whole ass nigga right now. I'm selling out, I'm an emasculated pussy. They're not thinking that. They're like, I'm standing on values. He's wrong.
I want to push back on the sellout statement, right? Mm-hmm. And I think language is important and words are important.
Sure.
They're not selling out because there's nothing to sell out from. We don't have an identity. What they're trying to do is buy in.
Okay, buy in. I like that.
You know what I mean?
I like that.
They could only sell out if we have a concrete identity.
I like that.
We don't have one.
I agree.
Right? Which is why we like that motherfucking tax dummy balloon flailing in the wind always. We're going to go whichever way the wind blows. And it's shown time and time again. Right? Kanye last week was too extreme. Really, when I go back and play back the Kanye Nori interview, I don't really see the anti-Semitist statements.
Sounded a lot like a lot of facts. I only took issue with his George Floyd takes.
I don't want to say it's facts, but I don't see it as demeaning language.
I mean, when you talk about, controlling messages and controlling images and mass media dominance and, silencing this type of message and silencing that, that's just what it is.
It's just what it is.
It's just what it is. Like, we can't call it what it is? Nope. No, you cannot call it what it is. Next.
That's the crazy shit.
Next.
That's what's crazy to me.
These people came from the equator. They were the first people on the earth, so I think they should probably... That's just what it is. Next.
Yeah.
No, you can't say that.
We don't want to hear no truth.
We want to teach American history and talk about, slavery. You know what I'm saying? How y'all had all them people enslaved for hundreds of years.
They wasn't enslaved. They was indentured servants.
Yeah. Migrant workers.
Yeah. But think about how powerful those narratives are. People believe that shit.
Yes.
Like, think about this, G.
Only to get in proximity.
Think about this, right? It's interesting to me, like, you come from a family where you didn't grow up with your dad.
Right.
I come from a family where I did.
Right.
Right? But most of my homies come from families where they didn't grow up with their father.
Right.
In that era.
Right.
And you go back one generation.
Everybody did.
Most people had their daddies.
Sure.
Right? But you go back a generation beyond that, most niggas don't know who their daddies is. Right? They don't. Like that's more normal in our lifespan than knowing who your daddy is. Mm-hmm. Right? But when you hear or when you have conversations, right? Motherfuckers be like, man, I ain't grow up with no father, man. As if this wasn't the normal, and I'm not justifying it. Mm-hmm. I'm saying this is what black life is, man. They had fucking breeding farms. Brother, they had breeding farms. Who you think they know who their daddy is, nigga?
They can sell your daddy today.
Gee, they had one story.
Or you.
One man had birthed 120 children with something like 80 women.
Yeah.
Don't none of them know who he is.
Yeah.
You understand me?
Yeah.
The fuck this is the black experience.
So you talk about let's genetically, right? Scientifically. I'm a Howard because I go back far enough. Some slave master was Howard.
He was on the Howard plantation.
I was on the Howard plantation.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? So everybody else on that plantation, they're now my family. They're now my cousins. You know what I'm saying? Because they're all fucking Howards. Cool. But my daddy might have been on the Howard plantation until he got moved to the fucking Warner plantation.
Quite possible.
Now my daddy is your cousin and not mine. He ain't related to me at all.
It's that simple.
You know what I'm saying? And now they got him breeding over there. And so now his kids is Werners, right? And so now here we are, X amount of generations later.
You look like my cousin. Doc Rivers look like my cousin. You know what I mean? Like, we don't fucking know.
You have no fucking idea, dog.
That,
motherfuckers keep telling me that I look like the Michael Che nigga, the comedian nigga.
You do.
And I do.
You do.
It's not wrong. The first time I heard, I was like, y'all niggas bugging. Second time I saw, I was like, y'all niggas right. He is a nice looking nigga.
He got his point.
He got his point. Okay. But nah, like, that's just, you know what I'm saying? That's just how wild this shit is.
But that's how fucked up the American paradigm of slavery and white brutality and white supremacy is. Geez, like they had breeding farms. And then 2-3 generations beyond that kind of energy, right? We are still suffering the Holocaust of blackness today, right? Man, we don't do the numbers, bro, right? Like I said, a generation before my generation, most motherfuckers had their fathers, right? The generation before that, motherfuckers was legitimately coming up out of slavery. Right? Now check game. My generation going forward goes into new slavery. American prison system.
Come on.
Right? You can legitimately look at the numbers, bro, from like the 70s to the 80s.
And see the explosion.
You could see the explosion. Right? And you and us and we interpret that as our fathers just wasn't shit.
No.
Instead of this was a strategized plan orchestrated by someone with power.
Half of y'all gonna go to prison for this shit. Half of y'all gonna get addicted to the shit they going to prison for. If a few of y'all left, okay, whatever. We figure y'all out later. Somebody gotta drive the bus. You know what I mean?
But our stress response was like a fawning stress response.
Yeah.
Right? We didn't fight the situation. We fawned in it. We just kind of stood still and accepted the behavior or accepted the results of the behavior as an inclination of who we are.
Oh, we've accepted
It's not
it.
who we are.
We've accepted it.
But in order to get beyond that fawning in the freeze, you got to do something. And that do something usually, at least in my mind, starts with the revolution of educating yourself.
Yes. That's why I always, every time I get into this conversation with a black person about, black accountability and, this, that, and the third, I ask them, I say, very simple. One of two things are true. So every time I get into, I'm so sick of hearing about, oppression and racism and white supremacy and all that, it's niggas is just, okay, cool. Wonderful. One of two things is true then. Either black people are inherently ignorant, more violent, more susceptible to drug abuse, lazy, like we're all those things. Or there is a strategic system that has been put in place to bring about these outcomes. There is no other choice. Either there's a system to bring about these outcomes, or we are just naturally more violent, susceptible to drug abuse, and fucking stupid than everybody else. Everybody else. We 13% of the population. We 50% of the motherfucking prison and all that. One of two things has to be true, G. Either we the wildest people that's ever fucking walked the face of the earth, or there's a system put in place to create these outcomes. Which one is it?
Yeah, man. I'm in the words of Tupac, because I'm not gonna give the white person that he stole it from any credit. But a coward dies 1,000 deaths. A soldier only dies but once. Right? You got to have a principled understanding of your worth. You got to. And as a man, that is our intrinsic value to the planet. Right? I told somebody the other day, G, that's what the definitive of manhood is. That's what it is, right? Responding to the needs of the moment. Whatever that moment is.
Whatever it requires. Whatever
it requires, right? And in this moment, we're watching, and it's not just from the shunning of the Kyries or the shunning of the Kanyes. It's in our babies dying in O Block.
Yep.
Right? It's in our lack of exposure. It's in our lack of understanding. It's in our lack of resources. In the poverty in our communities. It's in all of that shit. We have failed and left our position. Right? No, regardless of what the oppression is or opposition is, you have a role and a responsibility to your people and to the planet.
Yes.
Right? I say it all the time, man. You must challenge power. That don't mean you gonna win. But you still got to fucking challenge it.
It's necessary.
Because when it goes unchecked, this is the results. I don't give a fuck how motherfuckers feel, G. There's a problem when Lil Nas X is a valuable, I don't want to say valuable. That ain't the right word. Right? But there's a problem when you can put up Lil Nas X, one end of the spectrum.
Sure.
Right? As a version of black manhood and black masculinity. Right? And then on the other end of that spectrum, right? If these were the complete opposite ends of those spectrums, right? Lil Nas X is here, and let's pick a motherfucker over here. Lil Chief Keef or Lil Durk. That is not the scope of masculinity at all.
That's all of it.
Right?
Right.
Who is the motherfucker that fits in the middle of that as the greatest representation of that scope? That man don't even exist in the public lexicon.
No.
He don't even exist in the lexicon.
No.
Nobody questions it.
He's voiceless.
He's voiceless. That's a problem.
Huge problem.
That's a problem.
Huge problem. But that it persists though.
And we accept it. And not only do we accept it, we champion it.
Yes. Yes.
That's problematic.
Yeah, we champion it, and then we ensure that it continues through championing it, through celebrating it. You know what I mean? And then anybody who challenges it, anybody who comes out of the middle and says, hey, that's a little too gay, or hey, that's a little too fucking violent.
That's too extreme, bro.
You know what I'm saying?
That's too extreme.
Or not even, let me not even say that's too gay or that's too violent. Let me say, hey, that extreme is not healthy for the collective. Yeah. And that extreme
representation of the collective
is not healthy for the collective.
It's not even a representation of the collective.
It's not even a representation, right? If you got 20% over here and 20% over there, that's 40%. 60% of motherfuckers is in here. You know what I'm saying? And it's like,
and that version don't exist.
It doesn't exist.
Right? So we get judged on the extremes.
Yes.
Of the perspective. I said the other day, the only time you really see black male workers is in the retail space. And we've always had to be non-threatening at the foot of white power structures. Yes. Right? And I said this the other day, and this ain't a new thing, right? When people would call your house for the job or your uncle got a new job, he changed his inflection in his voice. That was to be non-threatening to the white power force.
Yes.
Right? Now, today, again, I'm not making no declarations. Mm-hmm. I don't know if you're gay. Mm-hmm. But in most instances, when I see black men in the workforce, I have to question it.
They're saucy.
Right? It's going that far.
Yeah.
It's going that far.
Yeah, I mean, you think about Kanye, right? And for me, my favorite Kanye album remains and probably will always remain College Dropout. But even in that album, you heard who he is. You heard how he spoke about certain shit. If my manager insults me again, I'm going to be assaulting him. You know what I'm saying? After I fuck the manager up, I'm going to shorten the register up. You know what I'm saying? Like they take me in the back of the store, pat me down, ask me about some khakis. But let some black people walk in. I bet you they show off they token blackie. Ooh, now they love Kanye. Put them all in the front of the store. You know what I'm saying? Like, he understood what the fuck was going on. Like, then, that's his mental then. He might be coming at it from a different platform now, but I think he's had the opportunity to kind of grow through this shit, through making his own mistakes of assimilation and wanting to be close to and wanting to be next to and thinking, hey, I can pull up a seat at the table. No, the fuck you cannot. I don't know when you forgot about when you worked at the fucking retail store, but it's the same up here when you fucking a billionaire, sir. You still just a token blackie. Get your ass in the back of the store until we need you. And if you don't do that, you can get the fuck out. I will keep insulting you unless you actually assault me.
But to speak to our own level of sickness, right? Mm-hmm. Think about this. I heard 50 on a talk show not too long ago say he had an opportunity to sign J. Cole. And they asked him why didn't he sign J. Cole? Mm-hmm. And he said, man, just at the time,
that wasn't the message.
He was like, it wasn't no space for that positive shit.
Yep.
Right? Now I want you to think about Kanye in the lexicon of his rise to stardom and 50. Kanye's College Dropout, because we do just what white people do, we value everything by the metric.
Yeah.
Right? There was 50 was releasing and Kanye's College Dropout was releasing.
Yeah.
And they was like, whoever sells the most will be the king of hip hop or some shit like that. And Kanye won. Mm-hmm. Kanye's backlash throughout the duration of his whole little documentary he just launched was nobody fucked with him because he didn't look like them. And what they looked like at the time was pushing the message of criminality, thuggery, all that shit. Yeah. Kanye was just saying, hey, I'm just regular Kanye. Right? I'm just a regular dude. I have a regular experience. Yeah. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And it cut through all of the muck. He since that day, he probably been the biggest motherfucker in hip hop. Mm-hmm. You know what I mean? Mm-hmm. And he's birthed a whole nother culture behind, a whole nother group of cats that follow his lead. J. Cole is fruit off his tree. Kendrick Lamar is fruit off his tree. Mm-hmm. Big Sean is fruit off his tree.
Yeah.
Right? All these people are fruit off his tree, but I just want us to identify our own sicknesses. Mm-hmm. Those of us who were in the elite class in that moment in time was like, man, get that shit out of here. Just saying I went to college and I dropped out and I worked a job at the Gap and man, fuck out of here.
Fuck out of here.
That ain't fit the narrative of black masculinity. Yeah. Because that's what they was really saying.
Yeah.
Right? So in order to be a man, you got to be a criminal. So it ain't like these are new theories. It's our adaptation to the theories is the sickness. We're not writing our own narrative. We're not writing our own narratives, and we're on the cusp of a changing book. The book itself is changing, right? We've not wrote our own narrative since we've been here, but the book has been very standardized. Mm-hmm. You know what I mean? Mm-hmm. You're going to be a servant. Find your way into servitude.
It's been laid out for you.
It's been laid out for you, right? But now the book is saying, we're going to cut these chapters out. We don't even need these chapters no more. You either accept being a used to be, or you change the narrative, bro.
Get busy living or get busy dying. You know what I mean? Like, accept it or do something different. And I think that in this Kanye thing, man, I think that you got a guy who's run the gamut. Started out on the south side of Chicago, runs the gamut, reaches the pinnacle of his industry, and then realizes still don't mean shit. You know what I'm saying? In the lexicon of what I thought it meant. I thought I could be next to the Louis Vuittons. You can't be next to the Skechers, sir. I don't give a fuck what your label does. You know what I'm saying? It's not the same shit, bro. And in realizing that, he just kind of reverts back to what he always was. At the tender age of 6, my mama got arrested for the sit-in. With that in my blood, I was born to be different. You know what I'm saying? He was always talking this shit, G. And so now,
think about that though, right? Somebody said the other day, I heard this.
But he crazy now.
I heard somebody
when he was broke, that sounds fine. It makes sense when he's broke. But when you a billionaire, boy, shut your ass up and keep being a billionaire.
I heard somebody say Charleston White, a cripple. That's how he described him. Mm-hmm. And he said Kanye West, a fucking geek. That's how he's describing him. Mm-hmm. It's not my word.
Sure.
He said got more courage than every other black man in the public sphere. When Kanye West said George Bush doesn't care about black people, that shit wasn't like a powerful thought.
Right.
He just said George Bush don't care about black people.
Right.
But the impact, you can't deny the impact.
No.
Right? All of these dudes who pre-Kanye, who was saying Kanye's music is not a representation of black masculinity, none of them would get on national television and make such a statement because they understand their place.
Hell yeah.
Right? Charleston White has what he has to say about all the shit he has to say about it. I ain't necessarily like the way Charleston White displays his messaging sometimes annoys me.
Yeah, me too.
And some of the shit goes over the rails.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Some of the shit goes way over the rails.
Yeah.
But the vast majority of the shit that he talks about, though, I ain't gonna lie, I agree with.
Yeah, he said a lot of true shit. He said a lot of wild shit. I don't know if he does it for shock factor or he's just a fucking idiot. But some of the shit I absolutely agree with. Tip came back with a verse for him too. Tip on some new song. It's some woman rapper, her song, and Tip is featured on it, and the whole verse was at Charleston White. Man, let's get a couple things about that happened at schools before we get up out of here. You referenced it earlier about what happened at Jones Prep here in Chicago. At Jones, a high school student, showed up dressed as a Nazi. Dressed as the German soldiers and the Nazis and from the Holocaust, right? And acting that way, marching that way, doing all the symbols, all the Hail Hitler shit on Halloween. Dressed up that way. That was his Halloween costume. And the principal at the school did not, denounce it, didn't stop it, was taking pictures with the student and all that. And so, therefore, the principal was fired. Was the principal black or white? White principal was fired for the job for like racial insensitivity or something like that. Two things. One, the state of America is so vastly unchanged, G. Like, we think it's like so evolved, it's this new shit. You talking about a fucking high school kid still on this shit. You know what I'm saying? Like, this ain't, and if anything, it's being rebirthed. You know what I'm saying? Or at least uncovered. I think mostly just uncovered. We talking about this last week when they was talking about
reinvigorated. Gasoline is being poured on it.
Yeah, and I think that we talking about it when they opened up the freedom of speech on Twitter, and the nigger word went up 500% overnight. And it's like we just lifting the veil on what America is, and it's sparking this new shit. And it's like we was talking about the body, right? The dismembered body. Perhaps, we don't know, but perhaps that is something coming out of the fucking Jeffrey Dahmer thing being reinvigorated, right? Rehashed, re-brought up. And I think we're seeing some of the same things take place with this type of shit.
What do you think that means, though? Why? Is it just what Tu said, where these things just happen every 50 years? Or is it something bigger, like what's happening?
I think people are going to find value wherever they can. And if I can find value in shitting on you or placing myself above you, man, I'll just do it. Just because that's where I can find value at. And so I think it's no different from when I was talking about, how black people jumped on the anti-Muslim ban in 9/11. Like, it's finally somebody else. Finally somebody else they don't like more than me. So I just think motherfuckers just do it for the sake of value, really, just to demean somebody else. That's what I think, anyway.
I think America's like a Shakespearean play, though, right? It's all a performance. You know what I mean? So when you think about it, white folks too are being left out. They've always been left out the fold in large mass, right? We understand the numbers. 1% have 90% of the wealth. So that means the vast majority of white folks is poor too. There's levels to poor, though. You know what I mean? And I think what has happened is, over the duration of time, they convinced poor white folks that they were safe and better than, right? But again, I just said, the world is shifting to a different dynamic. There's a different modicum of creating capital, right? Facebook just had to lay off like a third of its staff. Twitter just laid off a third of its staff. Mm-hmm. Anything, Andrew Yang ran on the platform that eventually we're going to have universal basic income. Everybody just going to have to get paid for just being here.
Just to keep the country afloat.
Just to keep the country afloat. Because with the invention of the digital space and the way that it moves, I think technology multiplies itself every 4 years, right? So you just don't fucking need people, right?
That's so fucking wild.
That's crazy, but it's the truth.
It's true.
Right? So again, that white shit, or that myth of white comfortability is so very interesting to me. Because when I was in high school, I got in trouble and I had to move to Cedar Rapids, Iowa. And being from the south side of Chicago, at that time specific, white people didn't exist. They was like Bigfoot. You heard about them, but you ain't never seen them motherfuckers. You know what I mean? Like, it sounds crazy. But to live in a major metropolitan area and not have to see white folks is almost unheard of. Right? But you go from that to Cedar Rapids. Now, you got a theory of whiteness. Because whiteness is on all the media outlets. Yeah. You got a theory of whiteness. But when I was
south of 31st to 95th, state to the lake, you ain't seen them.
And that was my life. Right. That was my whole world. Right. So I didn't think about them at all. Right? But being placed smack dab in the middle of them in Cedar Rapids, Iowa, gave me a very interesting perspective. Because I was like, man, these people fucked up. Mm-hmm. They dumb. And I'm painting with a broad brush. They polled. They don't have any motherfucking ambition. I might have been the only and I was there because I was in trouble. And I remember my graduating class, I was like one of the rare motherfuckers that was going to college. Right? But what they was insulated.
Yep.
Right? So that whole town could survive off Quaker Oats. And when I say survive, I mean survive much better than us. Right? That Quaker Oats job was going to provide you an F-150, a ranch home. Your wife is going to have a car. You know what I mean? Your kids are going to go to a good school because the community itself just undergirds this kind of behavior. But ambition, drive, they had none of that shit. I had an argument there with a motherfucker because he was telling me that black people was the majority of the U.S. population. This is how stupid. They were so detached. They were so detached, right? But they were insulated, right? The difference with us, we're not insulated by shit. We might have all the ambition, right? ingenuity is grown at a lack. So we ain't got shit, so we got to be bright. Even when we dumb, we smart. Because you got to be. You understand what I'm saying?
Fucking 5-star chefs in prison.
You got to be.
They be doing the wildest shit.
You got to be creative when you lack.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I mean? But again, as the book changes, those people in Cedar Rapids' lives are changing. Because Quaker Oats don't need your ass either. And at the end of this...
Now we run up in the Capitol.
That's their responses. But they also blame us too. Because they're being fed another lie. All these niggas and Mexicans coming and taking our job.
What job, nigga?
The jobs itself don't exist.
That fucking robot took your job, nigga.
That robot took your job. Gee, I went to the Ford plant in Detroit. Gee, that shit 4-5 blocks long. It was like 3 employees.
Yeah.
They don't need you, bruh. None of y'all. None of us.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? So what we're saying is the remnants of that changing world, right? They looking for somebody to blame. Everybody is, right? What's the moniker in our community is the difference between black folks and niggas, because we even look for somebody to blame, right? Now the onus of responsibility is on all of us, G. But you got to change the philosophy. We have to revolutionize the value set in America.
Yeah.
Right? Think about this shit, man. From the 1990s to today, there was something like 4 billionaires. Mm-hmm. That ain't no whole long time. Mm-hmm. Today there's like 400. Mm-hmm. Think about that.
Capitalism is hyper now.
It's hyper, right?
But the pie don't get no bigger though.
The pie's not bigger. They just taking more of your shit. And we applaud them taking our shit.
You go.
You got it.
You go.
You finally got there.
You go.
Thanks for stealing my plate.
But we hand it over though. I remember being in the bank. This is why I love old black people, G. I'm in a bank and the teller, the sister is complaining at the guy at the next window just about, it was a lot of people in there. And somebody was complaining. She's like, he could just use the thing outside. I wish everybody just used the thing outside and they don't have to be coming in here. The old black man said, and then where you gonna work? Everybody use the automated stream. Where the fuck you gonna work? And we don't see it that way. We see everything as just this convenience thing. And self-checkout, cool. They got 3 motherfucking cashiers. It's 20 lanes in this motherfucker.
But think about America, right? Think about the inception of America, right? You bring a whole workforce from someone else here to do all the work while you reap all the benefits.
Right.
Right? So we often talk about like Tulsa, Oklahoma and Black Wall Street and all that shit. That existed because at the end of slavery, you motherfuckers don't have this skill set no more because for generations,
y'all ain't
all you
shit.
had to do was sit and drink lemonade, motherfucker.
Y'all ain't did shit in 200 years.
Y'all ain't did shit. Right? This ain't new for the powerful white folk. They ain't never had the labor.
Yeah.
We got niggas to do that. Now new niggas is computers. But the person at the bottom of that totem pole got to understand one, the pathology of white folks, right? They don't just move your ass out the way to make them more comfortable. They kill you.
Yes.
Right. So when you're devalued by their standard, how you think this shit play out?
But it's that one track mind of pure dominance and pure control and greed. Right? And in the fucking Wire, Marlo was the white folks mentality, right? Marlo was like, nigga, I'm just here to take over this shit. I don't give a fuck about none of y'all. All this cooperative shit y'all talking about, fuck all that, Joe. This is about me. And Marlo didn't even give a fuck about money. It was never about money for Marlo. It was all about power and dominance and control. And that's all the fuck he cared about. And so when it came down for him to kill Prop Joe like, hey, I'll just step out the way. You can take it. You'll never hear from me again. What you think Marlo did?
There was a scene with
Killed
Marlo.
him any fucking way.
There was a scene with Marlo when he was in the rim shop.
Yeah.
And he was like, man,
I'm
about to wear the crown. He said, man, that crown hella heavy.
He said, prisons and graveyards full of boys that wore the crown.
Wore the crown.
Point is they wore it.
It's
my turn to wear it.
It's my turn to wear it now. Because that's all that matters.
That's all that fucking matters. When they was in jail, when they was all finna go down, And he found out that Chris and them had been keeping it a secret from him that Omar been in the street calling them bitches every day. You know what I'm saying? And he found that out. He like, my name was on the street. And Chris was like, man, it was bullshit. You ain't need that on your mind. He said, what the fuck you know about what I need on my mind, motherfucker? My name was on the street. My name is my name. Like, that's all this shit is about, G. Like you can't threaten what matters. And it's order, it's dominance, it's control. That's what it is. Right and wrong ain't got shit to do with it. Marlo didn't give a fuck. And he surrounded himself by other people who did not give a fuck. They was trying to kill Omar. Nobody could catch Omar, right? Omar ended up getting killed by a fucking 12-year-old. You know what I'm saying? Nobody could fucking kill Omar. So they like, okay, this is how we're going to kill Omar. We're going to get his ass locked up. And once he behind bars, because we control everybody in jail, we can definitely kill him in there. Cool. How we going to get him locked up? You're going to go to Old Face Andre's store and stick it up. And you're going to tell Andre to call and say it was Omar. Omar going to be locked up. Chris said, all right, cool, no problem. But a man make bail on robbery. Marlo said, all right, well, make it no bail.
Kill him.
Kill somebody. Mm-hmm. But you can't kill the store clerk.
Because he got to make the call.
He got to make the call. This nigga kills the delivery lady that's coming in there dropping off chips. She walk up with a motherfucking
nothing to do with nothing.
Walk up with a motherfucking dolly full of chips and shit. He helps her lift this shit up over the stairs. She like, oh, thank you. No problem. You good. He go in the store, upstrap, shoots her fucking dead in the middle of the demo just so it could be no bail for Omar. These niggas don't give a fuck.
Ain't no rules, G.
Ain't no rules. He killed the fucking security guard. Talking about because he talked back. You know what I'm saying?
Know your place.
You want it to be one way, but it's the other way.
Hey, man.
Understand it.
But that's a hard lesson to learn, though, bro.
It's tough.
Right?
It's tough.
And that's what I mean, right? By the very essence of man is to do whatever's necessary in the moment.
Yep.
Right? And I'd be a lie to say I don't struggle with this shit internally.
Oh, yeah. We all do, because where we at?
Because in my mind, G, if you ain't running up in the White House, you're failing. Us too.
Failing.
You understand me?
Failing.
Us too. And that's my mindset. I know I say that shit out loud. In most instances, people will look at me like I'm fucking crazy.
Of course.
Right? But that is the moment in time in which we've inherited.
That's what the moment calls for.
That's what the moment calls for, G. What does the world look like for my children if that's not the response that we have in this moment today?
It took white people, let's just say it took them 12 years to get that pissed off. Let's say it started with Obama, and then they ran up in there in 2020. Let's say it took them 12 years to get that pissed off. We 400 of these joints in, we ain't that pissed off.
Or we just scared.
Scared.
Right? And we're manipulated by the masses to be continually and perpetually scared. There's another conversation I want to have, and I don't know if today is the day, but if you pay attention to Stacey Abrams out in Atlanta,
mm-hmm.
and some of the tropes that she's putting out about black men, I think it's so very interesting, and I think we should dive deeper into that because it's not just Stacey Abrams.
Okay.
It's a reflection of how they keep us disjointed. You know what I mean?
We'll keep that on the dockets. We're gonna have to review all the elections and all that, and we'll do it on a local level and a national level and take a look at some of that anyway. We need to do that either way.
Yeah, we got a guest next week, I believe it is. Well, hopefully next week, and I think she's gonna add some content to some of those.
Oh yeah, I know you're talking about. I think that's the following week, but yeah, that's dope.
Yeah.
Last thing, man, I don't know if you saw this video of that came out from the University of Kentucky. It was a white girl, and she is repeatedly calling this black woman that go to the school. Black woman was like the RA, something like that, like the residential advisor type shit. Worked in there, make sure everybody come in and got a fucking student ID, that kind of shit. And white girl is just, I don't have to listen to you because you're a nigger. And she's trying to swing on her, and she's like biting people. That's like cool out. She biting them and shit. And she's just nigger, 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 nigger. You're a nigger. She's drunk. You're a nigger, 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 nigger. And the black girl's just like
trying to keep her calm.
Yes. Like she's just like, oh, stop, like, and somebody's recording this.
Who's the comedian to be like, oh, nigga here now? Nigga here now.
Niggas here now. I don't know, but I have seen it. Like you asked for it, man. Look, they did at some point. A university officer did show up, arrested the white girl, well, at least detained the white girl, handcuffed her. I think she was arrested, and charged with something. And the university did put out a statement condemning her behaviors and emphasizing the safety of all students. That was at the University of Kentucky. Again, this blatant racism and how emboldened people are, it's getting to younger and younger generations. That's college. We just got done talking about high school. You know what I mean? Like it's getting.
It's not getting the younger generations, bro. Mm-hmm. It's. Some people say that shit is in your DNA. Mm. You know what I mean? Mm. Like you're bred this way. You might conceal it. You said she was drunk. No, this is what she always thinks.
Drunken mind, sober thoughts. I say it all the time.
Yeah, start getting younger. This is what it is.
Yeah,
we're the ones who confused. This is what the fuck it is.
This is what it is, Jack.
Right? Even in the context of her saying nigga, 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 nigga. That's how we identify racism. Mm-hmm. Right?
Right.
We don't identify racism as
miseducation.
Yeah. We don't identify racism as you ain't got no goddamn grocery store in your community. Right. We don't identify racism as we ain't had a trauma center in Chicago since fucking Ben Wilson. Right. We don't you know what I mean? Right. We don't identify those things as racist tropes. I've been on the West Side a whole lot because I got this opportunity on the West Side for the last couple of weeks. Gee, I am in amazement. I am in awe of how disrespectful the fucking police are on the West Side. I ain't never seen nothing like it. Never, nothing. Gee, I couldn't even fathom how reckless this shit is. I've been over there for 2 weeks straight. Mm-hmm. It ain't been one day that I've been over there that I've not seen at least 6 police cars with people pulled over. Mm-hmm. And I don't what time of day it is. And the West Side ain't all that big, right? But how they police black people on the West Side is like an overseer. It's amazing to me. And I break the law every time I drive. So I be very conscious of how this shit is playing out. You understand what I'm saying?
Right.
But it's still just fucking amazing to me.
Yeah.
Right? And then when we think about the context of how the difference between black people on the West Side and the South Side, right? The black people on the South Side, at least stereotypically, are a little more upwardly mobile.
Yeah.
And their responses are a little different.
Yeah.
Right? So they don't have the same level of freedoms to treat us in our communities that way.
Right.
But the downtrodden, lesser resourced of us, how they treat them black people over there is fucking amazing to me, dog. It's a different planet. It's just on the other side expressway, my G. This shit different, bro.
Hey, man.
But we don't even deem that as racist. That's normal.
Yeah. We normalize a lot of shit. And so whether it's that kind of behavior on the West Side, whether it's fucking 2 students at University of Kentucky, we normalize that kind of shit. And while simultaneously,
I gotta just adjust to this behavior.
While simultaneously not understanding the larger picture at play when it's time to condemn somebody like Kyrie Irving. You know what I'm saying? You normalize this bullshit. You normalize it so much that when somebody is unwilling to go with the flow of this shit, you like, nigga, you crazy. Nigga, you an idiot. Them white folks giving you $40 million a year to hoop, and Nike giving you whatever to wear their shoes, and they pull their shoes and shit too.
But to the Kanye point too, though, right? And even back to the T.I. making the whole song about Charleston White. None of you motherfuckers condemn Lil Baby. None of you motherfuckers condemn the dress-wearing rapper boy that's in jail right now, Young Thug. And I ain't spewing nothing wrong about that. Well, yes, I am. None of you condemn drill music. None of you condemn exactly what Kanye was arguing. This shit is perpetuating death cycles in our community, and nobody says shit. But you offended this white man, and everybody got something to say all of a sudden. You support drill music. You support. We hear that in your background, in your workouts, right? But nobody has nothing to say about that shit, and that shit is perpetuating cycles of death in our communities. Yeah. That's interesting to me, G.
Wild as fuck, man. We got to slide. Appreciate y'all so much for tuning in to this edition of HerbNTou. We'll be back here on Friday for Relationship Friday edition of HerbNTou. As always, We appreciate you. Thanks so much for tuning in. Shout out to E4O. Shout out to Jake for doing all the hard work behind the camera for 2. My name is Herb. Y'all be good to each other.
Assalamu alaikum.
Peace.